Hello friends, and welcome to today's webinar. I trust that we're all going well. It's a great pleasure to have Derek Gehl online. G'day Derek.
Hey Steve, how you doing?
Yep, it's good. Good. Now, I want to do a quick intro at the start of this webinar, and then I will hand over to Derek to take over. I think a good place to start is the beginning. And I went to a life-changing event on the 12th of June 1999. That is now coming on to 14 years ago, and it only seems like yesterday. It was in Vancouver, Canada, and it was a seminar on all things about direct marketing. And it was a seminar that was recommended by a guy called Robert Kiyosaki, who was doing an event in Australia in May that I attended. And he said, if you're serious about making money, you must go to this event. And I was serious about making money, so I figured I'll go along to the event. And the question that I had in my mind as I was going along to this event was, I had a plan for how I wanted to replace my salary in the long term, and that was going to be via positive cash flow property. But the other question I had was, well, how do I supplement my salary in the short term so that I could get out of doing accounting, which I didn't want to do, but could still have income coming in the door. And at that seminar in Vancouver, there were a variety of speakers talking about a variety of things. And it was a 3-day seminar, and on the last day, on the 12th of June, these guys from Canada got up and started talking about the internet. And back in 1999, the internet was there, but it was in reasonably early stages as far as a commercial enterprise. And my eyes were opened that day to a new world and a new world of possibility. And now, 14 years on, for many of you listening to today's webinar, your eyes will no doubt be opened as well to this world of opportunity. In my most recent book, From Zero to Financial Freedom, which came out late last year, I talk about the importance of having an income accelerator. And once you've got an income accelerator, to then build your capital base using real estate and ultimately convert it to income. Without an income accelerator, you're going to struggle because you're going to have limited seed capital, which will be generated off the back of a job. It's going to impact your borrowing ability, and indeed, without an income accelerator, it's going to keep you in your job, and you may not want to do that. So the internet is used for many things today, and indeed it seems to be being used for more and more things. People use it for entertainment, they use it for information, and more so people are beginning to trust the internet like they do TV. And if it's on TV, it must be true, and if it's on the internet, it must be true, particularly when there are these social news sites and information gathering sites like Wikipedia. So the internet is being more and more seen as a source of trust, which then brings us to today's webinar, which essentially is how on earth can you turn ideas into income using the internet, because to me it is the cheapest, fastest and easiest way to make money, provided you have the right system. And unfortunately, the internet is still a little bit like the Wild West. It's full of a lot of gunslingers and promises of things that will make you an instant fortune. Most of them don't work, but there are some that do work, particularly if those techniques are being advocated by people who've been on the internet for a substantial amount of time, because if they didn't work, those people's reputation would be trashed. And so, completing the introduction, who better to teach you than one of the men who taught me back at that seminar in 1999, Derek Gehl from Canada. And Derek, today I've given him the job of walking you through his system and then showing you some of the success stories that people are using right now to make money on the internet. So Derek, thank you for everything that you've taught me and over the years enabling me to make millions of dollars on the internet with my internet businesses. Today I give you the task of helping others as well. Over to you.
Awesome. Thanks for the introduction, Steve. I muchly appreciated, and yeah, I'm excited to be here. I've been doing a lot of work with a lot of the property investing members over the last. We're coming up probably 8 months now, and you know, we've been seeing some incredible stuff, and I'm going to be on my way back there soon. But as Steve said, he wanted to put this webinar together because, and he asked me to do a couple things. And that's what I'm about to do. First of all, is to give you kind of the big picture, okay? Because I don't think, you know, a lot of people, you know, they know there's opportunity out there on the internet. And I mean, if you go to Google and you type in the good old, you know, how to make money on the internet, there's going to be no lack of snake oil salesmen showing you the latest push button, you know, get rich quick on the internet scheme, really. And you know, the fact is you know, what I teach, what you can learn from me, what I can show you is how to build real businesses on the internet. And you know, so what we wanted to do today is just give you the big picture of, you know, here's what it is. You know, no holds barred. If you want to make money online as the small guy, okay, the guy working from home in your spare time, here's the steps you need to go through. And then what I want to do is just show you what some of my current students are doing, just a handful, just to give you an idea of just some of the businesses that are out there. So, you know, I'm going to try and keep this short. I'm going to try and, you know, fill it with as much information as possible. And so let's just dive right into it. And Steve, feel free to jump in whenever you see fit and add your 2 cents. And,
Will do.
And I may call on you occasionally as well. So, you know, here's the thing. With building a business on the internet, it really comes down to 4 steps. Okay? I break it down into 4 steps. And the very first step in this process, and this is where I think most people have, this is where most people don't take the first step because they don't think they have anything, and that's the product idea. Okay, and the reality is most people think, if I'm going to start a business on the internet, what am I going to sell? And they go over to Amazon and they say, well, somebody's already selling books, somebody's already selling shoes, somebody's already selling this, somebody's already selling that. And you know, the fact is yeah, okay, you know, if somebody came to me and said, hey, Derek, I'm going to sell shoes online, and I'm going to go compete with, you know, the Zappos of the world, I said, well, that's probably not a good idea. But the reality is there is a whole universe of product ideas out there for small guys, for us to tap into and compete and profit from on the internet. And for the most part, those products and ideas are already sitting in your head. And, you know, it's interesting. One of the things that, some feedback that I get all the time from the people that I work with helping them build their businesses online is when they first get started, they come to me and say, Derek, I want to make money online. I have no idea what to sell. Okay, I've got no product ideas. You know, I've got nothing. And then after we spend not all that long teaching them how to identify product ideas, the tools you need to figure out what products are out there and how you can leverage what you already know, your ideas, your passions, your hobbies and interests, and turn those into products. They go from a state of not having any product ideas and not believing that they can come up with product ideas to the opposite, and that is having too many product ideas. You know, last time I was in Australia, Steve and I were doing a few events, and you know, one of the exercises we went through was helping people leverage their knowledge and come up with ideas based on their hobbies and interests and passions. And it was incredible what we were pulling out of the audience and coming up with ideas, stuff people already knew about, ideas they already had, but they had never considered. And, you know, the fact is we're all sitting on product ideas, and we need to learn how to identify those. And, you know, one of the big obstacles, I guess one of the mental barriers, or the reasons why people convince themselves that they can't do this, is they think all the good ideas are taken. And so, one of the most common questions I get from somebody who's considering the internet is, well, Derek, aren't all of the good ideas taken? Sure, I've got ideas, but aren't all of the good ideas taken? And, one of the things that we're going to talk about, a lot when I'm there in a few weeks is a concept, and I'm going to talk about this concept right now because I really want to get you thinking in the right direction. I mean, from my perspective, for you to take that next step to consider an internet business, you have to understand where the opportunities are. Okay, and like I said a minute ago, building a business on the internet, if you came to me and said, hey Derek, I want to start a bookstore and compete with Amazon, I'd say that's a bad idea. Okay? The real opportunities that exist today for the small guys, and when I say small guys, I mean people that are working from home or have a job and they're doing this in their spare time, just getting started, don't have huge marketing budgets, they're doing this on a shoestring budget. You want to go after what I call the anti-million-dollar ideas. You want to go where the big guys won't go. And I don't want to get too deep into this concept, but I'm going to leave it at this. The fact is people go online to search for knowledge, information, tools to solve problems. And many of those niches that people are searching in have great potential to generate not millions of dollars a year, but $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 a month. To us, that's a good income, particularly if you can replicate it and do it over and over and over again. But to a big corporation, to an Amazon, to big retailers, they're never going to go after those micro niches. And there are tons of those micro niche markets, those anti-million-dollar ideas that are sitting out there waiting for us to build products to fill that need. So essentially, what I'm talking about is going where the big guys won't go and utilizing the systems that I've developed. And over the last 15 years, thousands of people have started using to leverage these anti-million-dollar ideas. It's funny, whenever Steve, you and I get talking about stuff, I mean, there's never a lack of ideas. Anytime I ask you, you've always got a million ideas. And I mean, one thing you're good at is just pulling ideas and helping people see those ideas. And I think that's something that is available to everybody. You just need to know kind of how to think. And, I don't know if I did a great job explaining that, Steve. I don't know if you want to throw anything in there. But, the opportunities are there. You just need to know how to find them.
Yeah, there's a couple of things I'd say. The first is the internet is evolving and becoming more entrenched in our lives. Soon we'll be watching TV over the internet if we're not already doing it. And where you want to be, some people may be thinking, I've sort of missed my opportunity on the internet. I should have got going 5 or 10 years ago. Whereas I believe that we're still only at the tip of the iceberg. Yes, like it was really wild, wild west 10 years ago, but in many ways the opportunities now are somewhat better because the internet is even more geared for helping people get started quicker and easier without having to be a tech boffin. As for ideas, I can totally understand people sitting there listening to this webinar thinking, I want to get on the internet, but I don't know what my idea is and I don't know how to make money out of it. Everyone sits in that seat and has that thought, absolutely everyone. But the confidence that I would give you, if you're in that seat and you're scratching your head, is that your best idea will come from one of two sources. It'll come from an existing passion that you've got, or an existing hobby that you are into, or some unique knowledge that you're after. And I was talking to someone the other day on that exact point, in fact, sitting in my lounge room on the weekend about, he was like, well, Steve, I don't think I know anything. And I said, well, what you don't understand is you know how to raise girls with red hair and freckles. Now, he looked at me and blinked his eyes. He went, what do you mean? I said, you have a daughter with red hair and freckles. And I would have thought that there would be other dads with daughters with red hair and freckles that would want to know how to impart in their daughter strong self-esteem. And he's like, you're right, my daughter gets picked on at school sometimes. I'm like, well, there are people out there going through that exact issue right now that would love to know your thoughts on how to get through this difficult time, how to be a parent to a daughter with red hair and freckles. And he's like, oh, well, how do I make money out of that? And I said, well, that's a longer process, and it's, I said you should come to Derek's seminar that he's doing and spend a day with this guy and figure it out. But in short, you start off with information to win people's trust, and then you offer more information or a program or something else like that. To me, the smartest investing to sell on the internet is information, because it's cheap to put together and it's cheap to distribute. So, Derek, I reaffirm everything that you say. I understand the doubts that people have, but there is so much opportunity. What people perhaps need is the process or the system to think, which is certainly something that I can help them with at the seminars that you're running in March.
Yeah, and once you understand that process, it's like a level of enlightenment, because all of a sudden you're surrounded by ideas. And the internet's this really incredible platform that has now allowed us to sit at our computers at home and target markets that prior to the internet wouldn't have ever been feasible. And like for exactly what you were just talking about, Steve. So raising redhead children with freckles and all the issues that come with that. All right, now. To ever create a product on that and reach that market before the internet would have been impossible, okay? It wouldn't have existed, but on the internet, you now can go out and reach these micro niches, which has opened up a whole new world of product ideas. I have students that, are selling products, in bizarre niche markets, ebooks on beetles making, thousands of dollars a month, people on, how to train a parrot not to bite who's making over $1 million a year. All these bizarre niches that prior to the internet never ever would have worked are now generating huge incomes for people because you can reach that micro market on the internet and turn it into a healthy income. So, I wholeheartedly agree with that, and you always do such a good job of explaining that, Steve. I always try to find the words for it, and you always explain it so well, so thank you for jumping on that. And,
can I just say one more thing, Derek? Because I gave people the first idea, which is coming up with your own idea. The second thing to do, therefore, is if you absolutely have no ideas, if you draw a complete blank canvas, the internet is so wide and so deep and so robust now that often you'll find someone else's really good idea that they have no idea on how to market and no idea on how to bring that to its best and highest use on the internet. And so you can then take your training and turn someone else's really good idea into something even better. And everyone knows, although it's a little bit of a simplistic way of describing it, that that's what Bill Gates did, not on the internet, but with DOS. He took disk operating system, which was IBM's idea, took it to market. I think it was IBM's idea, it might have been even someone else's idea, and said, you've got a killer idea, but I know how to make a lot of money out of it. So even if you don't have your own idea, if you've got the smarts to know how to be an effective marketer on the internet, which is something you can learn, you can still make a lot of money.
And, it's funny, to add to that, I would say there's a lot more good product creators and inventors and designers than there are people that know internet marketing. So there are plethora of undermarketed, underperforming products out there that just need the right person behind it to really drive that. So, all right, so the next thing I want to talk about is something that Steve alluded to a few minutes ago, and that was how technology has changed, okay, and has really made things a lot simpler, okay? So, which brings me to kind of step 2, and that is building a sales website, okay? Now, there's a misconception with a lot of people, and that is building an e-commerce website is hard and or expensive, all right? Now, nothing could be further from the truth. Now, if we go back, you know, even as little as sort of 3 to 5 years ago, really getting up a full e-commerce website, able to take payment and email your customers and sell stuff and to add content, you needed to have some technical skills. But now, with virtually free technology, we can set up websites incredibly quickly with little to no technical skills. We don't need to know things like HTML or PHP or how to program. You need to know how to point, click, and type and follow some instructions and use free software, and you can build websites that can sell products. And in fact, you know, one of the things that we're going to do before we hold these events next week, or pardon me, in the next few weeks throughout Australia, is I'm going to do a webinar. And this is kind of like a pre-workshop webinar, because last time I was there, so many people came into the workshop with the mindset of, I can't do the websites. I'm completely technically inept, okay? And so we talked a lot about that, and I showed people the free technology, but I wasn't online, okay? So I really couldn't demonstrate it at the live events. So, for everybody that's coming to the workshops, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a pre-webinar where I'm going to just show you how dang easy it really is to set up a website, all right? Once you know how to do this, you can have a good-looking website set up in like 15 or 20 minutes ready to enter content, all right? And it's not hard. And in fact, it's dirt cheap as well. And I mean, you know, web design companies, web designers and stuff hate it when I teach people this because it completely undervalues what they do. But you need to know this because that misconception holds so many people back. So prior to the workshop, I'm going to do a webinar where I'm going to give everybody a crash course on how you guys can start setting up websites. And those people will take action. You could probably have a website set up before you even show up at the workshop. So, you know, that's pretty exciting because technology has changed. It's made things so much easier. That barrier to entry that scared off so many people in the past is no longer there. The fact is, though, is most people don't realize that barrier is gone. So, step 1, you need to come up with the product idea. Once you have that product idea, you need to go to step 2, to build your sales website. And that's the other thing I really want to emphasize there is sales, all right? There's a lot of pretty websites out there. Everything I teach at my workshops, in my courses, is how to build a website that turns visitors into buyers, all right? If you go out to your average web design agency and said, build me a website for my product, what they're going to build you is a brochure. It'll be pretty, it'll be flashy, you'll be happy to show it to your friends, but it ain't going to sell a darn thing. All right, so you know, you have to build a sales website, and the good news is that's a formula. Building a sales website isn't rocket science; it's simply a formula that really anybody with, you know, a little bit of patience can follow and implement, particularly using the technology. Okay, so once we have a website, step number 3. We need to drive targeted traffic. Once you have a website up, you know, I watch so many entrepreneurs stall at this point. They get the product, they get the website up, and then they just stop because they don't know what to do. They don't know how to get people to come to your website. I mean, I think everybody would agree that there's more and more websites coming online every day, and versus, say, 10 years ago, there's definitely a few more websites out there. So you need to be able to drive targeted buyers to your website. Now, the fact is, you know, traffic as far as traffic to your website, so the visitors that come to your website, there's three sources of traffic, okay? I categorize it into three buckets, all right? Your first bucket of traffic is the free traffic, all right? And this is my favorite source, mainly because of the price, which is free. And so this includes things like the search engines, or more specifically Google, okay? So getting ranked well in Google so that so people are finding you there. You're coming up on that first page when people type in keywords and they come to your website. For social media, okay? So actually, leveraging social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that to connect with your audience, with your targeted buyers, and bring them to your website. Then we have our paid traffic, and we're going to talk about all this in more detail at the workshop. And this includes things like pay-per-click marketing. So Google AdWords. We've all seen it, whether we know it or not, but when you go to Google and you type in a search, down the right-hand side, you see those little classified ads there. Those are pay-per-click ads, and anybody can go in there and advertise there. Or ad networks, or affiliate marketing, all different ways of basically paying to get traffic to your website. And finally, the last source of traffic is repeat traffic, okay? And the repeat traffic, I think, is something a lot of people neglect, and I'm going to go into a lot of detail at this workshop because it is your best traffic, and that's bringing people back to your website who have bought from you, who have subscribed to something, somebody that you're building a relationship with, and bringing them back to your website to buy over and over. Or if we get into it, more advanced advertising tactics, we'll talk about things like retargeting. And retargeting something that's really hot, and it's probably happened to you. If you've ever been on a website looking at a product, and then you leave the website, you don't buy the product, but if you ever notice, for the next 2 weeks or 30 days, banners are showing up on all these different websites that you're visiting, advertising that company, that the website you were just at, or advertising a specific product from a specific website that you had recently visited. That's retargeting, okay? These are all things that anybody can do. It doesn't require any special technical skills. You just need to know the formula. You need to know where to go, how to set it up, and make sure you have a good sales website to then convert that traffic. So that's step number 3. And then finally, let's move to step number 4. And that is lifetime value, all right? And basically what this means is once you have a customer, once somebody has come to you and bought your product on how to build self-esteem and, your redheaded daughters, okay, then what other products are they going to be looking for that you can market to them, that you can sell to them? And so many businesses put all their focus and effort online into driving traffic and getting that first sale, and then they totally forget about that whole lifetime value. And the fact is it's far easier to sell a product to an existing customer than to find a new customer that's never purchased from you and sell them a product. So that's the 4th step in the process. Finding other products to sell to those. And here's the beauty of the internet. Even if you don't have those products, you can go and in minutes, literally, find other products that other people are selling, recommend those, and make money just through referrals, which is called affiliate marketing. That's something else we'll talk about at the website. So 4 steps. Find the product, build the sales website, drive the traffic using one of those 3 sources. Once you have that customer, build relationships, build the lifetime value. And that's sort of that is, in a nutshell, the 4 steps. Now, before I move on, Steve, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the questions that are coming in. If I could raise just a couple with you at this point without wanting to distract you. It used to be when you wanted a website set up and you went to a developer, they'd look you in the eye without smiling and charge you $5,000 or $10,000 even for something basic.
Sure.
And it used to be, like people didn't understand HTML and you really had to know what you were doing. How can you put together now, how much would it cost to put together right now a simple but effective, neat, clean looking website for teaching dads with daughters with red hair and freckles with an e-commerce system? What would you say?
Okay, let's break it down. And I'm going to go through this in great detail and actually show people how to do this on this webinar that we're going to do, it's for the pre-workshop webinar. But if you want to break down the price, it's real simple. If you want a website, you need a domain name. What's that cost? $10 a year, $10 a year. Okay, then you need to get a web host. All right, a basic web hosting account can be had for $6 or $7 a month. Okay, and that's all you need to get started. Then once you have your domain name, you have your web host. Okay, we want to use something that's going to be really simple for setting up websites, but really powerful. And the fact is, the most popular platform for building websites today that's growing at a phenomenal rate is WordPress. And at my workshop, I'm going to talk a lot about WordPress and how you can utilize that in your business. And WordPress basically allows you to set up high-quality, professional websites with the click of a button, okay? And the best part of WordPress is the price. WordPress itself is free, okay? Now, when you install WordPress, it comes with a design. You might not like that design. So then you can go out onto the internet and start shopping for a theme. And a theme is literally the design that will work with WordPress. Literally click a couple buttons and you can install a theme, and that theme will be a full custom layout and design that works for your business. And there's thousands now of pre-designed WordPress themes for you to choose from that you can then further point and click and customize. Now, if you in the past hired a web designer to build a full theme from A to Z or customize a website to look like one of these themes, it would have cost you thousands of dollars. Now, that said, these premium high-end themes, the most I've ever paid for one, I think, was $60. And that's for the uber premium themes, okay? So, I'm not adding as we go here, but I think I'm around $80 so far, all right, to get things up and rolling. And then what if we need to take payment? No problem. Use PayPal. It's free. It gives you shopping carts. It gives you all that stuff that you need. And PayPal isn't just a simple, payment thing online. PayPal's a full, robust e-commerce platform, and like I said, it's free as well. So, if we go back to, what it used to cost to what it is today, you can set up websites easily for under $100, and you can get custom graphic. You could then go out and get a custom graphic, a logo, a header done for literally $5 to really add some customization to that website. So hopefully do you think that was a pretty good answer? Does that give some clarification?
Look, it sounds almost unbelievable that what used to cost you thousands now costs you $10 or hundreds of dollars. But perhaps what I would explain is that you have to understand that a lot of this is generated in countries where $50 or $100 is a lot of money. And that doesn't mean that they don't have the skills in graphic design or web design or anything else. Far from it. Some of the smartest people are in developing countries, but whereas you'd pay someone $50 an hour plus to get the job done in somewhere like Australia or Canada or the US, you pay someone $50 for the job elsewhere, and you're not shortchanging them or anything else like that. It's just different. So what I want to encourage people with is, if you said, that's it, great, this webinar has been fantastic, we've heard WordPress, or if you wanted to use a website like Odesk or something else like that, you could pay someone a couple $100 to do it all for you if you don't want to get involved. But again, I'm reminded of a joke, Derek, which I know you know that I love jokes. So let me tell this, and I can see more and more questions now. Some detailed questions are starting to come in. Yeah, Tony, I know you love my jokes. All right, so it's more of a sort of a metaphor. So my hot water service at home breaks down, and I ring up and call the plumber, and the plumber comes out, this big guy with his pants around his ankles, showing his butt crack, comes down and takes a look at the hot water service, pulls out a rubber mallet and goes bang, 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 and then says all fixed. And lo and behold, fires up and away it goes. It seems all fixed. And he gives me his account for fixing it. And it's $300. I'm like, $300? Dude, you were here for 5 minutes. You pulled out a rubber mallet and you went whack. How can it be $300? And he said, do you want me to itemize it for you, Steve? I said, yes. He goes, all right, call out fee $50, labor $10, materials 0, knowing where to hit hundreds of dollars. And see, to me, you know, lots of people could go out there and start a website cost effectively, cheap, for next to no money. That's the opportunity that you can do today. But the skill, the science, and what people need to invest in their education are the marketing and strategic ways of bringing everything together, knowing where to hit effectively. Because otherwise you'll burn a lot of time, maybe not a lot of money, but a lot of time going around in circles. And that's where, you know, I'd be encouraging people to get educated about how to put it all together. Because there is so much opportunity out there that it's almost easy to get distracted by it.
All right. Well, I appreciate the comedy intervention as well. A webinar with you would not be complete without at least one bad joke. All right. So those are the 4 steps, and you know, Steve asked me, you know, just show some examples of people and kind of what they're doing to give people the broad spectrum. And you know, he said show like 4, and so. Right now, I was actually at an internet marketing conference all day today with 100 other internet marketers, and on the flight down to Texas from Vancouver, where I live, I started going through and actually choosing down to 4 was unbelievably difficult. But here's just a few examples of what people are doing and who can do this, okay? And the kind of products that they're creating and going after, you know. So here's a student of mine. She's been a student of mine for quite some time now, and her name is Larissa Kerr. She lives in on the Gold Coast. And so here's an example of somebody that took their knowledge and turned it into a product online, okay? And her product basically teaches people how to do airbrush tattoos. And then that's what she started with, okay? And then she built that up, because once you have a customer, once somebody's learned something from you, you now have a relationship with them. And it becomes much easier to sell them other stuff. And if somebody wants to airbrush tattoos, she figured out, well, they need to buy stuff. So she started selling them equipment, tools, stencils, stuff like that. And so when she purchased the initial training with us, she was literally at the end where she tried numerous different businesses and had a lot of success. And she took just following these instructions with no real special internet skills, and built a business that's generated $300,000 a year online in a micro niche that, once again, would never exist prior to the internet. Okay, so here's another one of my members. Now, this is an example of somebody that's taken their hobby, but also their business, and has turned it into an online business. So this is Quan, and Quan has his own restaurant. And as many restaurant owners figure out, owning a restaurant is a lot of work, as are a lot of physical businesses. And so he took and simply sat down and recorded some short videos in his kitchen of how to make his favorite stir-fried recipes. And now he's created an entire site teaching people how to cook the different dishes that he already cooks in his restaurant, different stir-fried recipes. And once again, he owned a restaurant. He knew nothing about internet marketing other than the fact that it looked like a heck of a lot easier way to make money than running a restaurant. And now he's got an internet business teaching people how to make the recipes. Here's another example, and we talk about knowledge, but there's lots of opportunity for physical products to be sold online. And this is one of my members. She was in. Last time I was there, she showed up and came to our workshop, and her name's obviously Natasha, and just one of those people that follows the instructions, takes action, and gets it done. And she saw a need to bring into Australia different brands of clothing for the skateboarding and snowboarding market. And she had a passion there. And so she went from, within a few months, having no business experience, having no website, having no internet marketing skills, to now having a full-fledged e-commerce website selling different brands of skate clothing, surf clothing in Australia, and running this entire business from home. And she did that really in a few short months. So, knowledge, information, but this works for physical product as well. And, I was really proud of her. At the end of the day, I love seeing people that just go after it. And this was her dream, and I was blown away. She just took action, got it done. And her URL is beachsnow.com.au. So if you want to buy some cool new clothing, go check her out and help out a new entrepreneur. I think that's a good thing to do. Okay, here's another example. Now, Cindy's a great example. When she first attended my event, she was in sales, and now she's a stay-at-home mom, and she's a stay-at-home mom because
dude.
What?
Derek.
What?
Derek. What are you doing to me? Hair growth accelerator.
What?
Come on, you're taking a pic there.
Pay really close attention to this one, Steve.
Dude,
and
come on.
I bet I can hook you a discount. I'll see if I can get you at least 10% off. So she came to us, and she's got a daughter who's got some special needs, who has autism, and so she was literally forced to stay at home and leave her job, and she was looking for something different. And honestly, when Cindy started working, she had zero computer skills. In fact, she didn't even have her own computer at that point in time, but she started following the instructions, using the system, and she started uncovering niche markets. And so her first product was an information product on something that she didn't even know about until she went out there, researched, compiled her own information product, and now she's selling this ebook. Women are coming to her website looking for information on how to accelerate their hair growth. And one of the things that I always like to emphasize is this isn't kind of a one-hit wonder or a business opportunity where, like a lot of the, say, MLM, where they're like, hey, sell this product. And if you can't sell a product, there's nothing there for you. What you're learning here and at the workshop is a skill that is replicable in numerous different businesses, numerous different niche markets that you can apply in existing businesses or go into new businesses. So here's an example of somebody that didn't have a product idea, didn't even have the knowledge, went in there and developed this product on their own, but then once she did it once, she's now pumping out additional websites. So now she's going out there and doing affiliate websites where she's reviewing other products. This is an example of one where she's reviewing acne products on the internet, and she's getting paid a commission when people go to these different websites and buy. So she's selling physical products, but she doesn't even have to do that herself. Here's another example of one of my students in Australia, and Jackie started out same thing. from scratch, working from home, and she's built up her website, Australia Baby Hands, which teaches baby sign language, another niche market, and has obviously gone out into now physical products, has turned into a much, much bigger business. And, this is one of those ones, for the first few months, she was already generating thousands of dollars a month in these niche markets. So, once again, there's a whole bunch of different examples there for you. The bottom line is these are skills that really can help you in any business, in anything you're doing. And I don't want to sound cliche, but these skills really can change your life. And I got this email, and you can see the date on here, Saturday, February 23rd. So that was just this weekend, and I threw it in. This is from Richard, and Richard in Brisbane, I believe. And he came to the workshop, and he started using those strategies. I'm just going to read you this email he sent me the other day. And this is one of the things I love about what I do is watching people just transform themselves, doing things that they never believed were achievable or never believed that they would be capable of. So Richard wrote this email. He says, "Thank you, Derek. This course has been one of those life-changing decisions that I was lucky enough to stumble upon. I grew up with no parents and very little education. I knew if I worked hard, I could have a family. But this course has changed me. I can have more. I can achieve more. It says, from one dad to another, thanks, mate." This is a guy, Richard, he started off, when he came to this program, he was working with his hands. He was in construction. He was doing labor. And now this is a guy that had no previous experience. He's setting up websites, developing his own products, and it's just incredible to see the results people are getting when they realize that they can do this. So, one of the things I really want to emphasize, this is not a business opportunity, okay? This isn't something that, here's a widget, go sell it. If you can't sell it, you lose. This is an education, okay? This is truly the future of business. So at this workshop that we're going to be holding in Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, and Perth, I'm going to give you a crash course. We're going to spend one day, and in that one day, I'm going to give you a crash course, the A to Z, of what you need to know to start building businesses on the internet. And I guarantee you, you're going to walk out of that room with ideas spinning in your head. You just need to come in there with an open mind. And what you learn can be applied just about anywhere. Working with a lot of Steve's members, I'm seeing them apply it to the real estate business all over the place. Steve doesn't know it yet, but I'm probably creating lots of competitors for him. Sorry, Steve. But, it can be applied in just about anything. So, that said, Steve, are you there?
Yes, I am, mate. I was just muting myself because it looks like it's a bit stormy outside and the rain comes and goes, so I didn't want to distract from what you were saying.
Okay, good stuff. Sorry, I was just going to say we should give the details here. And do you have anything you want to add here?
Yeah, look, I'm seeing the questions coming in, and look, I'm going to ask you, Michael Hilton, who's a clever cookie, says, can he pay you to do everything for him without him having to lift a finger?
Here's the deal. Anybody that is really good at this, you can't pay them to do it for you. Because why would they when they can do it for themselves? So I can teach you to do it, but I don't go out there and do this one-on-one for people. I have my own businesses in multiple different niche markets, and in fact, that's that's one of the things that I do. I always believe I practice what I preach. So I'm involved in numerous different businesses, and I have numerous businesses outside of this. And that's what I utilize to develop my training, my strategies. So everything you're learning from me is coming from my other businesses that I'm sharing with you. At the end of the day, you can hire somebody to design a website. You can hire somebody to do your search engine marketing. You can hire somebody to write emails for you. You can hire all of that stuff individually, but you need to learn how to be the entrepreneur, how to come up with the ideas, how to come up with the strategies, and then that overall system. Whether you hire someone to do it for you in the end, you need to know it yourself. Otherwise, you won't be able to even hire people successfully to do it. I liken it to this. It's like, if you decided, hey, you know what, I want to become an artist. And then you went out and said to some guy, hey, I want to be an artist, but I don't want to actually paint the picture. Can I just hire you to paint the picture for me? Can't do that. Well, no, you can buy the paintbrushes, you can hire guys to mix the colors, you can hire guys to set up the canvas and all that, but you're the guy that needs to know the strategy, all right, and implement it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, look, I'm the guy who's inviting Derek out here. Derek doesn't rate it as his highest priority in the world to fly to Australia and train people. But Derek and I are friends, and he likes dealing with Aussies, and he doesn't need to do this, but he wants to do it. And so I'm opening up this opportunity for you, or for members of PropertyInvesting.com, because I believe Derek is a guy who I trust implicitly, and is a guy, one of the probably few people on the internet who I would be happy to strongly endorse. And not just me, but the people who are doing Derek's training as well. So Derek's offering a one-day crash course, which is $129, which you can order on PropertyInvesting.com. I need to warn you though, Sydney is sold out, unfortunately. So if you're in the Sydney or New South Wales region and you want to go, you can't go to Sydney. You'll have to pick either Brisbane, Melbourne, or Perth. I need to warn you that there are 27 spots left for Brisbane. There are only 11 spots left for Melbourne. However, there are still 70 spots left for Perth. And so those people in WA, I need you to get on board and support this, because Derek's making a special effort to get over to Perth. But, you guys keep saying to me that no one bothers to go to Perth. We need more people to support this. Otherwise, I'll stop encouraging people to come over. So support yourselves and support Derek by coming along. Now, if you're not willing to spend $129 odd to come along, then maybe this isn't for you. For a day of education, it's expensive for Derek to fly down and for us to host these seminars. We're only trying to cover our costs. We're not trying to get rich off the back of this. Then come along. You can book your spot at PropertyInvesting.com. There's a little ad on the left-hand side. Once those spots are taken, unfortunately, it will sell out in Brisbane and Melbourne and hopefully Perth as well. Now, I see people writing comments, no one ever comes to Tassie. Michael, you know I come to Tassie. But the truth of the matter is, it's not commercial to get Derek to come down there and run a seminar for 20 people. So unfortunately, the people down in Tassie will need to come over to Australia. Michelle, Canberra, yes. Next time, we'll try and see if Derek decides to come back again, whether I can get him to come to Canberra. When Kylie wants to know if we're doing a DVD of the seminar. Unfortunately, we're not. Again, it costs too much money to record the DVD and too much money to post-edit it, so it's a live event, unfortunately. Just looking at the questions. How can we protect the intellectual property that we develop? Well, basically, with the way it works with the internet, Tony, is you give a certain amount of it for free, but then other people have to buy it. If someone wants to rip off your content after buying it, that's no different to borrowing a book from the library and taking it to a photocopier.
Yeah, it's just to speak to that, there's lots of ways, and I'll show you guys different strategies to protect your content. But it's like the lock on your front door, right? The locks on our houses are there to keep the honest people honest. And at the end of the day, what I've learned doing this for over 15 years, selling my intellectual property and teaching people and stuff like that, is 98% of the people out there are honest, and they just want good information and good knowledge and good products. And those other 2% are just noise. It doesn't really have an impact on legitimate businesses.
Now, what I would say to people coming along to the course is that after you've spent a day getting educated, I believe that you'll have the skills to be able to put this all together yourself if you so desire. If you want further help and if you want a mentor to be there for you, I believe, Derek, you would offer that service as well?
Yeah, I'm already working with a good group of people there in Australia already, and having a great time, and watching businesses come online every week.
So the first step, though, for people is to get educated, and then if you decide that you want a mentor to help you along the way, then you can look at maybe including Derek in on that. I know lots of people are, like those people that he shared on the webinar today. Well, Derek, looking at my watch, we're bang on 2 o'clock, so we've taken up an hour of your time. There are just a couple more things that I would like to say to people, and that is, as far as an income accelerator goes, you have 3 options. You've got an offline business, an online business, or share trading. I strongly, strongly, strongly recommend that you spend a day with Derek and me. Of course, you'll love my bad jokes, but you'll love Derek's content more. Getting Derek to Australia is problematic. He's in Canada. He's in great demand. He's in Texas, I think you said at the moment, Derek. So he doesn't come to Australia very often, and he's pretty much at the moment, the only reason he'd come to Australia is at an invitation if I can help organise some of these events. So I'd invite you to come along to, like I went to a life-changing event on the 12th of June 1999, and it set my course on a new path that got me out of my job of accounting and into far more and exciting possibilities. And that same opportunity is available to you right now by booking along and spending an entire day with Derek. Back in 1999, I believe we only got you for an hour or 90 minutes, and the opportunity to spend a day is an incredible gift. I hope that you will take it by booking your spot while places last. The other thing I wanted to share is, it was almost on cue, but I received an interesting message while this webinar was on, an interesting email, and I'd just like to read it. Is that okay, Derek?
I hope so, yeah, I guess.
All right. So this is an email which will sort of teach people a couple of things, and I always believe that real-life examples are the best way to teach. So this is an email from a guy called John Lee Dumas, and he has sent this via the contact form at PropertyInvesting.com. And it says, "Hi Steve, I came across your publication From Zero to Financial Freedom, How to Do It Today on Amazon. After reading the intro, I know the content would resonate incredibly well with my audience. Have you ever thought of promoting your book on an episode of a top-ranked business podcast? I'm the founder and host of Entrepreneur on Fire. We are generating over 150,000 unique downloads every month with a lineup consisting of all-stars such as, I don't know, these must be American names, Barbara Corcoran, Seth Godin, Guy Kowalski, Tim Ferriss, and others. Chris Brogan promoted his book, The Impact of Equation, on the Entrepreneur on Fire, and sent this testimonial. My experience promoting was beyond great. The audience extremely energetic and engaged, and the promotion held incredible value. And then, right, I would like to extend you a sponsorship opportunity. And then check out my website. So this is about building business online. This guy contacts me, he sees my book online and gives me an opportunity to say, hey, do you want to partner with me and effectively use my network to sell your product or service? So, and that came through, Dave sent it to me at 1:13 p.m. today, so about 13 minutes into the webinar. And what I want to use this as a teaching illustration to show you that once you get your content out there, people will contact you and say, do you want to partner with me? So you spell his surname D-U-M-A-S, Jamie, so you can check it out. So Entrepreneur on Fire. But there's a world of opportunity at your footsteps, people. Take advantage of it and make sure that if you've enjoyed spending an hour with Derek, imagine what you could achieve by spending a day. Anything else you'd like to say, Derek?
Nothing in particular. I'm really looking forward to this. Had a great time. We were there last time. I don't think we had one person leave there not feeling that they didn't get enormous value out of that day. And like I said, I think in that day we're going to change the way you look at the internet and its potential for you to utilize it as Steve would put it, an income accelerator.
All right, well, over 1,000 people registered to listen to this webinar. I see we had about 180 people online, which means you guys listening live have first chance to book your tickets to come to Derek. I apologise in advance for those people listening later on if you missed out on a seat, if they sold out between now and when you get a chance to look at it. You can join the wait list in case some seats open up. It's unlikely, but it's possible. So Derek, thank you very much for your time today. Really appreciate it. Looking forward to hanging out and when you get out to Australia and sharing some more of my award-winning jokes with you.
I love it.